We're ready to rock, family. Thanks for showing up. I'm glad all you guys are here as usual. Thanks so much for being here. And we got some stuff to talk about definitely today. And wait, hold on. Brandon, you're in Twitch now? I didn't know you made the full switch over. Thank you very much, my friend. Jaws is here. Monica is here as well. You guys are amazing as usual. But the first thing I want to discuss is, goddamn, like, holy shit. Last night, I'm put some music on really quietly. Hold on, let me do something. I'll put this on and I'll put it behind the scenes so you can barely hear it. But yeah, so essentially, or not essentially, but last night, I was crying last night because it actually, if you go to the Discord and you go to the sad chat, you'll see what happened and you'll understand what I mean by it, and you'll realize what I mean by I was crying because it all hit me, like this stupid game hit me, and I think you know what I mean by it hit me because of what happened, you know, and like it was the whole Sayori thing. That whole thing, it hit me pretty damn hard. Like it actually finally caught up with me, and I was like, God damn, this sucks a lot. And I was like, because the thing that hit me the most is like at the point in time I was just like, oh no, it really sucks. I hate it, blah blah blah. But then after I was done, this is how I am in normal life, where if something happens, if like an event happens and it's like a really triggering event, it's kind of like my brain will be like, push it away, get that shit out of here. But then I'm gonna turn the music off, it's distracting me from thinking. But I'm just like, get it away from me. I don't want to let any of that stupid sad stuff in my head. And then I try to make jokes and stuff, because that's just who I am, and that's essentially the way I react to stuff. But then afterwards, I'm able to kind of sit back when I'm not streaming and I'm in my quiet zone, and I can reflect and think about stuff that happens. And the parts that are getting me the most is like, it's just a game, I know that, but it just invoked such an emotional response inside of me. And I was just sitting there, I was in my bed, I was like tearing up. I was so sad, and I was talking to Anna the whole time. But it was just the part that it's just like, apparently, because you didn't grow up with this girl, right? But it was presumed that you did, and she was your best friend and stuff. But then the part that hit me was that she's no longer ever going to be there. She's no longer ever going to be a part of anything, because the story actually, it's like she dies in the story. Spoiler alert, you guys are here, you've already watched the stuff. But she's no longer around, and there's no way to avoid it. And that's the thing that got me the most was, you know, no matter what you say, it's still gonna have the same outcome. And the thing that was hitting me the most was that there's no way I could have done anything else to stop it, and that now she's gone forever kind of deal. It's just a stupid game, I know that. I know it's a game, but it still hit me really hard. There are some things in my past that can relate really similarly to her, just because, in essence, how she acted and how she was exactly how I was when I was little. When I was in like my middle school days, middle of the school through like the middle of high school, her mindset was pretty much my mindset. And it was really like, I can relate to her so much. Like I'm not afraid to say that I had, back in the day, I had some suicidal thoughts. Because I was a very sad boy. I was a very, B-O-I, I was a very sad boy. And I'm a lot better now. Like, nothing's gonna happen like that ever again. I know that for sure, because I know I'm mentally stable now. But back in the day, I was a very, very sad little nugget. And I was trying to do that. I wanted to make other people happy. That was my main goal in life. And even though I was a sad little ball of crippling depression, I was like, I want to make people happy. So it really hit me, because then I was like, I was kind of in the similar situation back in the day too. And so it was kind of like a reflection back on myself a little bit. And it's just a very strange feeling. And so I talked to people in the Discord, and they made me feel a lot better. First of all, I was just like reflecting. I'm not ignoring people. I'm just going off my head right now. And it hit me because that could have been me. And it's a very scary thought to think that it really very well could have been me. And it's just a very, I don't know. It's hitting me pretty hard, and I hope you guys understand that I'm better now. I'm very, very, very much better now. Like, I have no thoughts like that ever. But just saying that when things happen like that, because of the way I used to think, the way that she thinks, I used to be exactly like that. And because I was like that back then, where I always kind of went to the sad side of things first, I have matured out of that phase, and now my only first reaction when I see sad things or triggering events is to get them as far the fuck away from me as I can, and just replace it with something that I'll find humorous and will make me happy. So if people ever watch me, like if something happens on screen and I don't seem to be reacting to it in the way you think I would, that is why. I can understand some things. If you watched my Walking Dead playthrough, you'll know at the end of that, like I had time to figure out what was going to happen. I had time to figure out things that were going to happen. And spoiler, if you don't want to know the end of The Walking Dead, right now you will just tune out for 2 minutes, then come back in. But at the end of The Walking Dead, Lee, the main character that you play as, dies, and then he leaves the little girl Clementine to like fend for herself. The entire storyline led me up to believe that I was gonna survive and stuff, and then at the end it was like it's almost certain that this guy's gonna die. And right at the very end, you ever watched it, I cry like a fucking baby in that, because I was aware of what was gonna happen. Like, I was fully aware that this was the end of the run for this guy. And that my mind mentally was able to comprehend that, and at the moment, so then I was able to show very, very raw emotion. With the Doki Doki game and the part that happens, it wasn't exactly abrupt. There were signs it was going to happen, but we didn't know for sure. And then it took you by surprise like that, and that's why the reaction was a lot different, because it didn't give me time to comprehend what was going on, so I did that. I'm sorry I'm rambling a little bit, but me and I didn't realize I wanted to make people happy until you said it? Really? Not sure what you mean by that, but if you want to make other people happy, go for it. But yeah, so it's a whole comprehension kind of lesson, I guess, where if things happen and I can understand them completely before they do happen, and I know they're going to happen, then my emotions have time to prepare, and I'm able to be fully vulnerable in that point of time. But with this game, it took a couple of days, because my mind kind of went into like caveman mode, and it's like, get away from me. And then it finally hit me, and then it really connected with me, that it really did connect with me, because that's exactly how I used to be. So this game has had a lot of impact on me, and it's hard to like kind of keep it in, I guess. But I want to let you guys know that you guys are amazing, and you guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. And without you guys here, I would not have this little family that I have now, and my life would be worse than it is today. So thank you guys so much for being here. And I appreciate each and every single one of you. Somber mood? Yeah, you missed a little speech if you're just tuning in. But after this somber mood, we're gonna go into the really fucking important shit that this game has to offer. And this is gonna be a reaction video style thing to, if you guys, I'm sorry, I had a Pop-Tart before I started doing this. Bad decision, I know, on my end. But If you guys have seen the Game Theorists videos on Doki Doki, you probably know what this is about. But if you haven't, this stuff is insane. Like, you have no fucking idea what you're about to watch, and how many fucking little intricacies are in this game. So with that being said, let's start some stuff out. And I'm going to go over to desktop quick. Like I said, if you can go over to the Game Theorist page and subscribe, please. This video surely redeems itself in the subscribe thing. Okay, here we go. So, you guys, it's going to be a reaction style game, or a reaction style video. So, if he says something I want to kind of react to, I'm going to pause it, then talk, okay? So anyways, let's get into it right now.
At its Steam store page, Doki Doki Literature Club seems harmless enough. A cutesy, pastel-tinged dating sim starring 4 adorable waifus, as the kids say, all of whom you can try your hand at wooing.
Give me a sec, I gotta turn my volume up, it's really quiet. I just realized I was like, shit, I started off bad, so I'm gonna go double volume. There we go. Oh shit, nope, nope. Hold up, I fucked up. Wait, there we go.
Unless you're part of the 75% of users who watch the show on a tablet phone.
Okay, we're back to normal, fam.
As the kids say, all of whom you can try your hand at wooing for the low price of free. But look a little closer and it quickly becomes clear that this game isn't the fun, light-hearted visual novel that it makes itself out to be. For starters, the top tag on the Steam store page is
psychological horror,
which makes it seem misclassified. And at the bottom of the game's description, which is a cute little greeting note from the Literature Club's president, Monica, you'll find a very stern warning in bold letters. This game is not suitable for children or those who are easily disturbed. And in case you missed that one, the game greets you with that message yet again as you boot it up. One final reminder that this isn't meant for the faint of heart. It seems like a joke, right? But let me assure you, it is no joke. So in that—
I want to say, this fucking video is so well made. This is a 2-part series, by the way. So we're going to be here for about half an hour, so just, if you don't have time for that, you can always come back and rewatch the video, or you can stay for as long as you can, and then review it later, blah, blah, blah.
Spirit, this is your last chance to stop watching this video before I spoil the heck out of it. It is without exaggeration one of the best written, most surprising game stories of this year.
Hell yeah!
Even if it takes about 2 hours of fairly slow-paced visual novel action before you get to the really good stuff. Play it yourself, you're not going to regret it, or just watch our highlight playthroughs on GT Live. You'll get the point. Okay. So if you're still here after that and you haven't played the game or watched our GT Live playthrough, which I'm sure is still a lot of you, let me give you a quick rundown. During your first playthrough, Doki Doki Literature Club seems like a normal visual novel with a pretty neat mechanic of composing poems in order to woo the various girls in the club.
It's so cute!
Childhood friend Sayori, quiet bookish Yuri, and young aggressive Natsuki. But at the end of your first run, strange things begin happening. It all starts when Sayori succumbs to her depression and commits suicide. Soon after, she's deleted from the story entirely, and you're kicked back.
I'm tearing up again!
But something is clearly not right this time.
Something's not right.
The world begins breaking apart as it tries to move forward without Sayori in it. Eventually, you discover that the club's president, Monica, has become self-aware within the game and is manipulating the game's code, even files on your very computer, in a desperate attempt to make you, the player, love her. When nothing else works, she deletes everything else in the game, leaving just Monica. Just Monica and you in the club room with nothing to do but talk. Forever. At least until you do what she did to the other characters and delete the character file in order to save everyone else and reach the true ending. Doki Doki Literature Club intentionally leaves a lot dangling for gamers to figure out on their own. But out of all of it, one question has been bugging me nonstop since I finished playing it. What is the story behind Monica? The game presents her as simply being a character in a visual novel who suddenly becomes self-aware, but all of that doesn't quite add up. The way DDLC is designed, the way that Monica—
Do you guys want me to add subtitles on there or no? I'm just wondering, because, I mean, it gets really fucking deep, so if you guys want subtitles, let me know, definitely, because it's a lot to take in, and, it gets really— I've already watched this, but I wanted to do a reaction for you guys, but okay. It's fine, Brandon. I guess I hang around. Alright, I guess no subtitles it is. Let's go, okay.
Monica manipulates it, and the things that she says in her extended conversation with you all hint that there's something much more sinister going on with her. And that is the theory for today. That's right, dear theorists. The hidden truth of Doki Doki Literature Club is that Monica is from a different game. Monica is Flowey, who also happens to be Porky from Earthbound, who's really the purple guy from FNAF. Sorry, the rest of the theorist team just pulled me aside for a quick intervention. Apparently I'm banned from making any links between this game and Undertale. Or any game and Undertale. Really, I'm not allowed to touch Undertale anymore. But in all seriousness, Monica is from a different game. And not just Monica either. Doki Doki has a lot more to it than first meets the eye, even once you make it through the main story. Because the ending isn't even the ending. When you restart the game after deleting Monica, Sayori assumes the role of club president now, and things are pretty normal until the end of the first day, when you get perhaps the biggest twist of them all. Sayori now is self-aware, expressing the exact same desire to hoard you to herself that Monica did. So there's gotta be something that at least Monica and Sayori have in common, and possibly the other
TBH, I'd be okay with Sayori keeping me to herself.
girls as well. That's making all of this possible. See, there's something about the way Doki Doki Literature Club is designed that doesn't quite add up. Throughout your second playthrough, Monica reveals that she's been manipulating events behind the scenes the whole time, that she's been messing with Yuri, Natsuki, and Sayori's character files by amplifying their worst traits so that you'll like them less and you'll like her more. That's why Yuri goes from being a little bit clingy to being self-harming and obsessive, why Natsuki goes from being flirty mean to just being a plain old jerk, and why Sayori goes from being mildly depressed to suicidal in the span of a few days. These are all the consequences of Monica haphazardly adjusting their character parameters behind the scenes, but hold on a second.
Hold on!
That might seem to make sense on the surface, but if you actually stop and think about it, that's not really how visual novels work at all. Visual novel characters aren't AI-based. Their behavior is determined entirely by what's written in the game's script. The game's dialogue script, not programming script. I can see how that gets confusing. There's simply no need for a character in a dating sim to have complicated behaviors like this. But what if they were created for a more complex game? What if the characters in Doki Doki Literature Club were intended to be used in a different game altogether? One where they would need to have more complex, believable responses to a greater range of player choice? What if their assets were simply repurposed from that game in order to make this dating sim? It's not just speculation. The clues are there, hidden in plain sight in Doki Doki's central mechanic, the poems. Over the course of the first act, you read poems from all the other club members, which seems pretty innocent. Sure, reading between the lines, you can start to get hints that Sayori is depressed, that Yuri is prone to self-harm, and that Natsuki is being abused by her father, but
Okay, here comes the fucking good stuff.
it's nothing overt. In the game's second act, you're given 3 randomly selected special poems out of a possible 11 that makes these hints much more overt. But there's one of these poems in particular that really stands out. A huge block of redacted text with only a few letters left visible, spelling out the question, that would be unsettling enough on its own, but if there's one thing Scott Cawthon has trained me to do, it's to run dark images through Photoshop and play around with sliders. If you crank up the exposure on that image all the way to max capacity, suddenly it becomes possible to read the full text, and man, it is weird. Irregular heartbeat, heart palpitations, arrhythmia. I search and search, eyes scanning everything I can find on their symptoms. What is this? Shortness of breath? Chest pain? Dizziness? No, this is all wrong. Alyssa's symptoms are nowhere near this simple. I've seen it twice now. The screams of pain, sickeningly pale skin, vomiting blood. There is no other explanation other than that Renier's information was a complete and utter lie. This can't all be coincidence. It's not possible. I don't know how much of this Renier is behind, but I do know this. There is something horribly wrong with this family, and I accepted the invitation to become a
Chris, have you seen this yet? If you haven't seen this yet, you're in for a fucking ride.
part of it. I can hear Alyssa's screams through the walls now. I listen helplessly. Renier said he would be with her shortly. Is he in her room now? Why is she screaming even louder than before?
Oh, it's
killing, right? This creepy letter is literally hidden right in front of your face while you play this game. And what's it all mean? Well, those opening lines make it sound like someone who's trying to identify an illness. Irregular heartbeat, heart palpitations, arrhythmia are all possible problems of the heart, so it's not so much this person is making a diagnosis, but rather it's someone trying to read the symptoms he's seeing and figure out what the diagnosis is. It's a clinical assessment, which means that the speaker is a doctor of some kind.
I'm gonna throw on subtitles just because it's a little bit more easy to read and tell what he's saying. Sorry guys if you don't want subtitles, but damn, they're good.
Notice the words he uses. Their symptoms. It's an illness affecting multiple people, a family, as we see later in the letter. A family that apparently you can join, almost like a cult. It's also worth noting that this doctor who's speaking has some degree of detachment from this girl Alyssa, almost like she's a research subject of some kind, possibly part of a human experiment. And when you put all this together, a cult performing experiments on young girls, it starts sounding familiar.
It's her book! It's the book she was reading!
We hear about human experiments exactly 2 times in Doki Doki Literature Club. Both times when Yuri describes the plot of The Portrait of Markov, the book that she wants to read with us. A book which has a, quote, ominous-looking eye symbol on the front cover. In the first act, Yuri makes it sound relatively innocent enough. Quote, basically it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does so, her life gets really strange. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison, and while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. End quote. In the second act, Yuri's personality gets a bit more unhinged.
It gets creepy.
She gives us a creepier description of what's actually going on these pages. Quote again, basically, it's about this religious camp that's turned into a human experiment prison. All the people trapped there have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. But the facility gets even worse, and they start selectively breeding people by cutting off their limbs and affixing them to, and then she cuts off. That's a lot of information for a fake book, especially when you compare it to what we learn about Natsuki's favorite manga. And that's because what Yuri tells us about The Portrait of Markov isn't just a short snippet of text meant to create the illusion of a bigger story, it is the bigger story.
It's the bigger story!
It's the plot of the horror game that Team Salvato is working on. The game that all 4 of these characters originate from. And if you think I'm done, oh no, we have just scratched the surface. We can dig deeper to uncover more about this horror game, including its title and release date, as well as how these 4 girls fit into the overall story, because Team Salvato left a whole ARG's worth of content hidden in Doki Doki's game files. If you thought that the Literature Club was interesting before, simply because it had these cool meta moments and jump scares, well, get ready. There's a whole other game here.
It's a new game.
Resting underneath the surface, waiting to be puzzled together. That'll start to make you really question everything you thought you knew about Sayori, Natsuki, Monica, and especially Yuri. There's all way too much to cover in this one video, so ring the bell to subscribe.
Okay, guys, we're moving on to number 2. Holy shit. Okay, guys, so first off, there's another game coming out, and it's, okay, hold on. We're gonna go in here quick. This is insane. So here's the other video right here quick, but, wow. Okay, so there's another video. I watched part of the first one a bit, but the second one, I kind of skimmed through. I didn't watch it all, so I just kind of went off the, oh shit, my fucking pages. Damn it, why does it do that? It's a piece of shit. But I kind of got a gist of what happens in the second one, but I wanted to do an actual reaction with you guys. So this is where it's gonna go. It gets really fucking deep. So here we go. I'm going to start up the second one, and we're gonna jump in now.
Just Monica. Just Monica.
Oh, it's the thing.
Just Monica. Just
repeated
Monica.
way too many times.
Just Monica. Just Monica.
Just Monica.
Just Monica.
Just Monica.
Just Monica.
Delete.
So last time we began covering the creepy hidden mystery of
glitch. Oh, I'm getting so freaking creepy. Oh, so creepy.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, and my apologies for any technical difficulties we may be having during this series. So in part 1 of this theory, we start to unearth a horror game hidden underneath the cute facade that is Doki Doki Literature Club. We found a letter hidden in plain sight alluding to human experiments and cults.
So first off, in the Discord last night, this is what people were telling me to watch. They said it has something to do with this person that's name starts with an L, and then they were like, go watch these 2 videos, and so I watched the first one, and I was like, shit, and then I kind of watched a little of the second one, so I kind of know what's going to happen, but then I haven't watched the whole thing in its entirety, so it's going to be interesting to see this. Did I play?
All topics that appear in Yuri's book, The Portrait of Markov.
It's the fucking book.
A book that just so happens to have a mysterious eye on the cover.
Just get ready to fucking pay attention, okay? Do not, like, lose concentration at all. Pay utmost attention to this video, okay? This is the most important shit.
To concoct a theory that the 4 girls from the club are actually characters from another game. A horror game, in fact, being produced by Team Salvato. And that this is the reason that Monica turned sentient in Doki Doki. Her AI isn't meant to be contained in a mere visual novel game. But today is where things really start to go off the rails as we dive deeper into the Portrait of Markov mystery and cover the game within this game that's itself hiding a third game.
A third game!
Oh yeah! And by the way, if you thought Monica was bad, well then, you should start getting really scared of Yuri.
She's bae! Yuri is bae!
If you finish the game, the character files in the game's directory play a huge role in the plot. Monica manipulates and deletes them one by one in her quest to make you love her. And ultimately, you have to delete Monica's file in order to reach the game's true ending. But there's more in these files than just character information. Each of them is a puzzle in and of themselves, left in the game to be solved by the fans.
Crazy!
2 fans of DDLC in particular stepped up to the challenge. Reddit users MitHost and WarChamp7 dug deep into these files and uncovered their secrets, posting their findings to the R Visual Novels subreddit. And the lore bits they uncovered broke the Portrait of Markov mystery wide open. So the character files on your computer start as .chr files, which isn't a real file format that programs can recognize. But that doesn't mean you can't open them. If you use a text editor like Notepad, you can absolutely see what's inside, and that's exactly what they did, with the text inside each file giving them clues as to what they should be doing next. Yuri's
respect
about this visual novel
to the
makes me go
fans.
through puberty. Yuri's file was the easiest to crack. It started as a bunch of random letters and numbers, but that pile of letter vomit was actually text encoded in base 64. It's an encoding.
So this right here, the base 64, is what people were saying. Mitch, base 64. Here's a hint, base 64. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Because I didn't know what it was, and no one told me I needed to go and go to a decryptor or whatever. There's a website that does it. I didn't know that.
Technique that converts binary data into text, specifically ASCII text, the same stuff that Bob built his army using a few years ago on YouTube. That may sound like it's really hard to decode, but all you have to do is copy it and paste it into a base 64 decoder, like this one right here. When you decrypt Yuri's file, you'll see that it's actually a short story, a creepypasta which the game's director Dan Salvato confirmed that he wrote over 2 years ago and just stuck in the game as an Easter egg. It's a spooky story to be sure, but it seems to be just that, an Easter egg. A red herring. It is nothing compared to everything else in his other character files. Natsuki's file came next, which, when opened in a text editor, gave the clue that this should be opened as a PNG file. Changing the extension resulted in this odd discolored image. But for anyone who's had some experience playing around with Photoshop, this color scheme may remind you of what happens when you invert the colors on a picture. It produces those signature blues and grays. So reversing that inversion, the picture suddenly starts to look like a real picture. And not just any sort of picture, a face. Rotate the image and wrap that texture around a 3D cone, then look at the cone from above, and it turns into an image of a mysterious blonde woman with whited out eyes. This woman doesn't resemble any of the other characters in the game, or anyone talked about by him. So perhaps then she's a character from the other game being developed by Team Salvato. Maybe it's Alyssa, the girl suffering the strange illness that we heard mentioned in the letter found in the last episode. Monica's character file, when
That's fucking insane! Are you fucking kidding me? That's insane! You have to go to the character file, convert it to a PNG, and then black it out, or like make it non-inverted, then flip it over, then make it a 3D cone image to see an image of a woman? Holy shit! That is the craziest thing I've ever heard!
Converted into a PNG turns out to be an image of a ring with a square of black and white static in the middle.
It's Monica.
But that's not just any static, it's a QR code, was what I initially thought, but nope, it's actually way more complicated than that. And huge compliments to the guys on Reddit for solving this one. It's actually binary. Computer language. It's a bunch of ones and zeros, where one number is represented by the color black, and the other number is represented by the color white. So, what MidHost did was to take those black and white pixels and convert them line by line
Oh my God.
strings of binary, then convert that binary sequence into alphanumeric text using an online converter, which resulted in yet another pile of letters and numbers. But these should be starting to look a bit more familiar, right? It's more base 64 code, which, when converted, reveals a note that really starts to bring all this together.
Can you hear me? Who are you? I can't see you, but I know you're there. Yeah, you can definitely hear me. You've been watching for a while now, right? I guess I should introduce myself or something. My name is... Actually, that's stupid. You obviously already know my name. Sorry. Anyway, I'm guessing if you were able to put a stop to this, you would have done it by now. I mean, I know you're not, like, evil or anything, because you've already helped me so much. I really should thank you for that. For everything you've done. You're really like a friend to me. So, thank you. So much. I think more than anything else, I really don't want it all to be for nothing. Everyone else is dead. Maybe you already know that. I'm sure you do, actually. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? Well, there's a lot of stuff I don't understand. I don't even know if it's possible for me to understand it, but I know that this isn't my only story. I can see that now, really clearly. And I think everyone else has had that same kind of experience. Some kind of deja vu. It's the third eye, right? Anyway, I could be totally wrong about this, but I really think you might be able to do something. I think you might be able to go back, or however you want to put it, to go back and tell them what's going to happen. If they know ahead of time, then they should be able to avoid it. They should. If they remember their time with me in the other worlds, they should remember what I tell them. Yeah, I really think this might be possible, but it's up to you. I'm sorry for always being so, never mind. I know that's wrong. This is my story. It's time to be an effing hero. Both of us. 2018!
Wow, that is
It's so fucking scary!
a lot to unpack, so let's get to it. First, it seems pretty clear that this was written by Monica, as evidenced by the "you've been watching me for a while now" and "you already know my name" lines. It also seems to be written after Doki Doki's true ending, where she destroys the game. Notice how she comments that there's something you as a player can't stop, something that's killed everyone else, which is why she destroyed the game in the first place. But now come the bizarre parts. She says that she's experienced some sort of deja vu and that this isn't her only story, supporting the idea that she's coming from somewhere else, perhaps, once again, a different game. And it's not just her either, it's all four of them. Quote, everyone else has had the same kind of experience. What's most exciting though is her suggesting that perhaps we as the player can, quote, go back and tell them what's going to happen. If they know ahead of time, they should be able to avoid it, meaning that we're gonna be tasked with trying to jog their memories, or that in this new game there'll be some sort of Easter egg calling back to the events of Doki Doki.
So we can save Sayori, I think! If that's the point right there, that's why I was like, holy shit! That's fucking insane! Like, okay, so it said we have to go and change them! We have to make things not happen! We can save her!
Quote, if they remember their time with me in other worlds. Other worlds, like other games that these characters have been used in. That maybe we can do something in these other games to warn the girls and prevent Doki Doki from ever happening in the first place. And the conclusion is pretty much the most blatant. Team Salvato has another game coming in 2018, and in this game, Monica isn't the villain. She's the hero. Of everything in Monica's letter, though, one reference in particular really stands out, blaming this deja vu on what she calls the third eye. And it's not just Monica either. This third eye is hidden throughout your time with the literature club. During Act 2, you're always given 2 regular poems. Once the game starts to break, the first poem that Natsuki gives you is a string of random letters and numbers, which at this point we're old pros at decoding. Using base 64, the text reveals a creepy hidden poem titled Open Your Third Eye, which describes the narrator taking pleasure in stabbing someone to death.
Oh my
The
God.
second poem that Yuri gives you seems, at first glance, to be a huge block of random words, but hidden in plain sight at the end of it is another ominous passage that describes a compulsive stabbing and concludes with the line, quote, the lust continues to linger through my veins. An ache in my muscles stems from the unreleased tension experienced by my entire body. Her third eye is drawing me closer. That's 3 characters now who've brought up this third
The third eye! Oh my God!
eye. The same eye that happens to be described on the cover of the portrait of Markov.
Her book!
And remember what Yuri said about the plot of the book last episode. All the people trapped in the human experiments at the religious camp have this trait that turns them into killing machines that lust for blood. That trait is undeniably the third eye. All of this points to Team Salvato's new game being about human experimentation, researching a psychic phenomenon that invokes uncontrollable bloodlust in the people exposed to it. Which brings us to the last piece of the puzzle, Sayori's character file, which is by far the trickiest to decipher. In order to unlock its secrets, you need to convert it into an OGG audio file, which sounds like a lot of random noise at first. But when you open that audio in a visualizer program and then apply a spectrograph to that visualization, you reveal a QR code that, when scanned, takes you to the website projectlibitina.com. Whew, that is a ton of work just to reach a page of plain text. But the information contained within that text is eye-opening. Third eye-opening, that is. The page is an examination report dated January 5th, 2004, which describes horrifying experiments being performed on a 3-year-old psychic girl with the first name Libitina. Her last name is left blank. Another blank name appears at the bottom of the page, another subject who was terminated earlier. Based on the context of the redacted poem we covered last episode, it's my guess that this girl is Alyssa. Even the number of letters in Alyssa match the number of redacted letters in the name. That's far from the only parallel to the portrait of Markov that we see here, though. A note to the head doctor at the bottom of the page reads, quote, "You are choosing to avoid the measures necessary to prevent a repeat scenario, Doctor. Will you not have as much faith in your personnel as you do in your God?" End quote. Yuri says that the book is set in a religious camp that was turned into a human experiment prison, which lines up pretty well with this mysterious doctor's reported devotion to a god of some kind, and the redacted poem's allusion to joining this mysterious family. Judging from the various notes on this webpage, the tests performed on the 3-year-old were all about activating Libitina's third eye, that lust for blood, which proved successful, but then, based on the failed test results, Libitina is then unable to suppress. But not only are we getting more and more clues as to the next game Team Salvato is working on, we're actually seeing exactly how our favorite club mates are gonna fit into the story, because I am confident 3-year-old Libitina grows up to be one of the 4 girls we see in Doki Doki Literature Club. And what's more, I can prove exactly which one it is. Libitina is a 3-year-old, and her height and weight are both average for her age, so there's not much to go on there. But if we look a bit further down the page, we see a list of noted behaviors that the researchers say should be ignored in future examinations. Twitching, vocal tics, biting, epiphoria, vomiting, screaming, harm to examiner, harm to self, misplaced laughter. There's one character who we see display almost all of these traits during Doki Doki Literature Club, particularly in that second act, Yuri. Once the game bugs out, Yuri's dialogue becomes the most erratic. We repeatedly see her eyes twitching when she talks to us, she screams a fair bit, laughs erratically at a few points, and that bit about self-harm? Well, I don't think I need to explain that one. But these aren't the only clues that we have to go on. There are 2 more things that absolutely confirm that Yuri is Libitina. The first is her age. Libitina was born January 5th, 2001, which would make her 17 years old in 2018, the year that Project Libitina is set to release. As the only member of the Literature Club in senior year, Yuri is the only one of the girls in the right age range to be Libitina. But there's also one more piece of crucial evidence that absolutely clinches this theory, and the evidence isn't found in the game itself, or even in its data, or a random hidden webpage, but rather in the Doki Doki Literature Club merchandise store. Yeah! This guy is hiding clues in more places than Scott Cawthon. Team Salvato might not be offering much in terms of merch items, but the few items that are present reveal some very interesting details. So let's look at the posters. 4 of them are simply CG of each girl taken straight from the game. Nothing too exciting there. Another 4 are creepy original artwork featuring iconic quotes from the characters. Between all of these, there's this running motif of the girls being tied up in a red string. Even Monica has a bow wrapped around her, but Yuri doesn't seem to possess these strings. In fact, all of the red strings seem to be emerging from her heart, from this flower, whatever this is, ensnaring all the other girls, an allusion to Libitina's psychic influence over everyone else. But if that doesn't convince you, there are 2 more posters for sale featuring original artwork. One of these is a surprisingly cute picture of Monica handing you the song she sings you at the end of the game. It's cute. It's very cute. The last poster, called Yuri Unhinged, is a bit different. And when I say a bit different, I mean completely different from anything else in the game or on the site. It shows the quiet bookworm Yuri sitting in the classroom at sunset, toying with a knife. For someone unhinged, her posture seems oddly relaxed, even confident. In fact, it's the most confident we've ever seen her. Like she's in full control of the situation. And behind her, we see all sorts of ominous text scrawled on the blackboard. And to her right, we see a poster. A poster with a big ol' Illuminati confirmed eye in the middle and the words "Help Me" scribbled along the top. This is the third eye, Yuri's third eye, and this is the only artwork where we see it depicted. Illuminati confirmed, Yuri as Libitina confirmed. Doki Doki Literature Club isn't just a free game made to promote Team Salvato's upcoming horror title, it's a part of Project Libitina. Monica is the upcoming game's protagonist, while Yuri is the monster at the center of the story, Libitina herself. This is why Yuri was so attached to the Portrait of Markov story. It is her story, and the disconnect from being put in the wrong game is the reason that Monica becomes self-aware. But hey, that's
Is he dead?
game theory.
Bam, bitches! That is so fucking cool. That's so cool. Honestly, though, like, I love when games go that deep. Because people can get into them and it's just like, holy shit, that's absolutely insane. And the people that went and figured this stuff out, wow. Like, they must be puzzle-solving geniuses because, wow. I don't even know how to explain how they were able to figure that stuff out. That's so unquizzically amazing that they did that, and I'm in awe, and I really appreciate that they did. But first of all, some pointers here, some really big pointers we can talk about. So one of the things that was mentioned was this third eye unlocks a lust for blood. Am I right? I'm right. That's what it said. And what that means is the bearer of this third eye, whenever seeing blood, has a strong lust for it. Now, does anyone recall what happened? Remember when I was playing with Yuri's knife and I accidentally sliced my finger? What did she immediately do? Not even thinking about it. She took my bleeding finger and stuck it in her mouth. A lust for blood seems very apparent in Yuri's character. Then secondly, when you are sitting there in the classroom with her, all close and cuddly, and then you start to compare her with the main character from her book, she gets very nervous. She gets very on edge, and she starts to question and get, what are you asking about? What are you saying? And then as soon as you say that it's only that they seem kind of shy and don't like to go over and blah, blah, blah and stuff like that, that is when she's like, she calms down. So when you make the connection that she is close enough to the main character of the something of Markov, she starts to become a little unhinged because she is the main character of that book. Isn't that crazy? She is insane. And we thought Yuri was the cute one. I still think she's the cute one. I still want to waifu her up and snuggle her to death. But she won't die because she's a goddess, apparently. But if you guys want to go to that site, we can go there real quick. So it is Project Libitina, and we can look over some stuff. So we go Project Libitina. Boop. So watch this. Let's go there real quick and look over some of the stuff on the site. So here it is. Here's the subject info. Let me make sure I'm in frame. I am. And so we got the date of birth for Libitina. There's that. Apparently, I was reading some stuff in the chat that people were saying that every one of them is 18. But I'm not necessarily sure that's accurate. Maybe it is. I'm not sure though. But I think I remember Natsumi, saying they were younger. I'm not positive on that one though. I think that's what happened. I'm not sure. Sayori is your bae. Yuri's my bae, and she's the fucking bae of the stream every time. Wait, think about him constantly talking. What? Nope. Yuri is not legal. What do you mean she's not legal? If she's 18, she's legal. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, text is blurry. Okay, what I can do is this then. I can go boop, boop, boop. How about that? Is that okay? Hopefully that looks good to you guys right there. But if we're on this page right here, this is the Libitina, and the first name is crossed out. Oh, wait a second. That's actually interesting. That's interesting because he mentioned in the real thing that there was another one right here. No, termination of this one, and that was at Alyssa. It was E-L-S-Y or something, something, something. But it matched the exact number of things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 X's there. But up here, Libitina, we never learned Yuri's last name, did we? So never mind. I was going to say this doesn't have 4 letters in it, so it's not Yuri. But the first name, this is the first name, this is the last name. So that makes sense, actually. But it is still 6 X's, so it may not have any correlation at all. But if we go down and we do look at this, here's one thing that struck me as a little bit of weird. But I don't know if this is her or not, because this is Libitina right here. We go to the physical results, and we have the pain tolerance 0, 1 to 10, and it's a 3. So pain tolerance means how much you can tolerate pain. And if it's a 3, that doesn't make sense to me in Yuri's case, because as we all know, she was a self-harmer. And with that being said, her pain tolerance should be a little bit more. I don't know actually, because I've never actually been in that situation, but it made sense to me if she was a self-harmer, her pain tolerance would maybe have to be a little bit higher because she might be used to that. I'm not sure though. So if you have any input on that, let me know, because I don't know on that one. Other than that though, seems like here it says physical results third eye. Control is a 1, so it's very, well, that could be why she got all like super weird at random moments in time, because she couldn't control it. Well, according to a current pain hospital chart, 1 would be a low level of pain and 10 is a high. Okay. Oh yeah, she was a kid. That's right. She was a kid. She wasn't here then. That's a good point. She's a kid. That is not relevant to what we saw in the game. That's good to know. But apparently her strength is a not available. Local distortion is 434. I don't know what that means. Reaction time is 1, which is fucking incredible. The third eye, okay. Anything else? Ears, normal pain tolerance. The following behaviors have been noted. And okay, so here it is. Yes, twitching, vocal tics, which she does. Biting, I didn't notice the biting at all. Epiphora, I don't know what that one is. Vomiting, I believe Natsuki was the only one that vomited in the game, but I'm not sure. Screaming, yes, she did that. Harm to examiner, she did not do that to me, because I was the one talking to her most of the time. She didn't harm anyone else either. Harm to self, she did, and I believe she was the only one that harmed to self, except for Sayori. And misplaced laughter, which I'm pretty sure the misplaced laughter kind of related to every single one of them, because it would be like we're talking, and as I was reading, because I was doing the voiceover for every character, and every single character, I would ask them a question, they would go, ha ha ha, and they would laugh. So, the theory also mentioned that DDLC is a different world that they all got thrown in together, and I believe that is correct, because if that's the way it is, if it's a totally separate game that they're making, that this DDLC is a separate place, they just threw the characters in there, and then Monica finally was self-aware, and she was like, I'm not where I'm supposed to be. And she was able to figure that out, but then she also fell madly in love with you. So she was kind of like a corrupt, good person, in a way. I don't know. Mitch, who has genitals? What? Genitals normal? Genitals means like, right? It means guys are dumb. You know that? Excessive watering of the eye. Oh, okay. So yes, that would be Yuri then, because I remember Yuri was always saying sorry and always getting emotional. The theory mentioned that they thought everyone was already dead before DDLC. Really? I didn't catch on to that one. Oh wait, I think it was when Monica was reading, right? I don't know. I thought that was saying that they were dead because of what Monica did. Where she killed everyone. Not sure. Well, I'll have to look over that one in a second after we're done. So, emotions and eye-watering are different, man. No, I'm just saying that's the way it was. Shut up! But either way, we're going to look at some of these quick now. And this is the one right here that they mentioned, where the third eye activation test passed, but the suppression test failed. So when it says suppression test, is that meaning that they failed to suppress it so it was no longer a part of the being? Or are they saying suppression test for the patient where they couldn't suppress the third eye from coming out and activating itself? See what I mean? It's a little bit more eerie. Not sure about that one though. But then down here it says the whole termination of the Alyssa potentially, and well, you're not have as much faith in your personnel as you do in your God, which it's pretty much saying that Libitina, aka Yuri, is some sort of god or goddess, and they are what 8 out of 100? What for what? I don't know what you're saying about that. What if you have to change what happens in Doki Doki, meaning you have to get them to kill themselves? That's very dark. Wow. I'm not sure, but this is pretty deep stuff. Not even gonna lie, it's pretty deep stuff. Oh, suppress it. Oh, that's what you're saying. I thought you said like my review was 8 out of 100. I was like, what are you talking about? So we get on to the suppression test. 8 out of 100. So that could mean a couple of things. And also, here's this. The emotional control test failed as well. Physical control test failed equally as well, which is also, I believe, why we saw her stab herself in the stomach, because she couldn't physically control the third eye. I don't know. It's just something to think about. You can save all the girls in DDLC, and that is essentially why at the beginning of this video I started talking about how I started reacting last night about Sayori, because I watched a little bit of this video and I saw the part with the Monica text, and it was saying that you have the ability to reverse what happened. You have the ability to go and make sure, or you can change things, and I was like, there's a way to actually save her. And it made me feel really good, actually. It made me feel a little relieved. So, I'm really glad. I'm really, really glad that's the case. It may not be the case. This is all a theory, mind you. But I love getting into it, and I really love doing some digging deep. Eventually, I want to go and do the data files myself, but I'm going to do that off camera just because it'll be boring, and I just want to go and do it just for fun. But otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this stuff. Do you have any other comments that you could think may be part of the theory at all, or anything you want to add in? Because if that's the case, let me know now, because I definitely would like to know what you think. I saw Alicia was here. Alicia, do you have any theories at all? I don't know. I think you said you liked puzzles. So if you're into this, then I definitely want to know what you think about this stuff. What did I miss? You missed quite a lot. We were talking about the third eye. Shit. Monica's poem. Let me type what I think. Please do. While that's going on, let me go and read this right here. No, never mind. I thought this was new. I didn't know. What if the girls are supposed to die? Did the text say that we have to save them, or did it just say we have to change what happens? Good question. Let us go back and look at that quick. Because I can... You know what I can do? I can go to Monica's decrypted message. Let's see if I can pull this up. Monica's encrypted message. Here we go. So hopefully this can show us. No, that's not Monica's decrypted message. Here it is, right here. Decrypt monica.file. And then it goes to there. Here it is. Okay, we can read this for ourselves. No, I was just stating that someone who spends time coding cracking doesn't mean that they have no life. The enjoyment of puzzles and like to challenge oneself does not equal... Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know that. I didn't know what you were referencing. I enjoy puzzles in DDLC. I think it's amazing the time and effort that was put into the curveball that was thrown. Yes! And it also, like I said, it was bad. Like, I didn't get affected by it at first, but last night I was so sad. I'm still sad now. Like, I can still feel this little, like, pin in my stomach. And it's just like, it's hitting me. I don't know. But yeah, I know. If people like to do puzzles, definitely doesn't mean they have no life. I don't know where you got that from, but yeah, I mean, it's honestly, I love doing puzzles. My brain likes to work at things. And if you guys were in the Discord last night, I kind of went on a rant about how I may seem dumb when I'm playing, but that's just because before I did streaming, I played games in silence. So I was so used to just focusing with my mind on what to do, and I would remember everything. I would remember the smallest amount of details and all that stuff. And then when I started streaming, I had to start talking and entertaining and doing things for you guys. And it really threw off my groove, per se. Because now, instead of remembering and having to focus on stuff, all of my focus goes to trying to entertain you guys with fucking funny jokes and like keeping you guys entertained. So I'm sorry if I miss up. I have to ask you guys for questions and stuff. But I mean, I'm not as dumb as I look, okay? That's what I want to get across, is I actually can be very intellectual when it comes to games, but live streaming and recording videos kind of threw that off for me a little bit. So, if you guys ever want to see me play a game just kind of by myself, let me know, because I'll definitely do that, and I'll just stream it. I'm most likely wrong, but Monica could be suggesting some experiences when being experimented on. One poem says, I was not looking out, rather he was looking in. But again, I'm mostly wrong. That's a true statement. I am very excited to see what they will do next. I am as well. Can I make this bigger? Nice! I can! Sweet! So you guys can kind of read what I'm reading now. The poems all seem very suggestive. They do. She got it from me saying this is very pointless. Oh no, it was so cool. It was so cool. As far as my fave, it's a toss-up between Natsuki, Monica, then Sayori, and Yuri last. Oh come on, Yuri's bae. Yuri is so hot, first of all. Then Yuri's so mentally intellectual, but she's also unhinged, and that's kind of hot too. But then again, it's very she should get checked out. And of course, that list was before they showed their true sides. Oh, okay. You don't trust Yuri. I know, don't trust Yuri, but you gotta love Yuri. Don't trust her, but love her. What if Monica is tricking you? That's a good point. Wait, Mitch, in Hebrew, Yuri or Yuri means the light of God. In Japanese, depending on the characters used to spell the name, it could also mean abundant ideals, pronounced Yo-ri, commonly Japanese female name that may be written with the character for lily. It is also the Japanese vocabulary word for lily. Cool. That's pretty neat. That is also a good point. It's also, wait, oh yes, hold on, wait, whoop. Boop, there you go. Sorry, Brandon. He was a temp mod because people weren't available. But that is also a good point, because if you decrypt Monica's file, we all do know Monica was the very deceptive one in the game. And it could mean that Monica's file is just deceiving us even more from the real game or whatever's going to be released. So we don't know what's going to happen. And this is very interesting. I said light of God. What did you think I said? Maybe I misread it. Love makes you do crazy things. It does. It does. RIKP mod life. Yeah, I know, Brandon. It was just temporary. Sorry. And also, Nimi. Mitch, so did... What? Hold on. Mitch, Mitch, so did it say we in here to save them or change what happens? Here we go. So I guess I should introduce myself. Yep, we know that. Everyone else is dead. Maybe you already know that. I'm sure you do, actually. So that's referring to the point that it's after the game where she deleted everyone. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? Well, there's a lot of stuff I don't understand. I don't know if it's even possible for me to understand it, but I know that this isn't my only story. It's hinting that there's another game. I can see that now really clearly. And I think everyone else has had the same... Let me go and put the chat over here quick. I think everyone else has had that same kind of experience because it's not their only story. Could that be what's going on? Not sure. Some kind of deja vu. It's the third eye, right? Anyway, I could be totally wrong about this, but I really think you might be able to do something. I think you might be able to go back, or however you want to put it. Meaning that we can go back and fix things? Maybe to go back and tell them what's going to happen, which means we could potentially reverse the whole story of Doki Doki before it even happens. If they know ahead of time, then they should be able to avoid it. They should. If they remember their time with me in the other worlds, they should remember what I tell them. I don't know what I don't know how to think about that one. Maybe it is the other story, but they all know each other somehow? I don't know. Anyone else think Nightbot is a bit annoying? Well, that's because I wanted people to move over to Twitch. And no one, I mean, a couple people did, but everyone just kind of stayed on YouTube, so... Also, since it hints that they were all thrown into a different world, it is very possible that their files could have suffered some corruption. That's a good point, too. They mentioned Yuri like a god of light. It could be. What if the purpose is to make Doki Doki how it is? What if by killing the girls it stops the third eye? So that's also a point that I didn't really understand either. Because if Yuri was this goddess or god, then in Doki Doki she kills herself. Is she still alive? Or is she not alive? Or see what I mean? I don't understand that point right there. Because, I mean, how could the third eye made her kill herself? Which then defeats the purpose of her being a goddess? I don't understand it. Maybe it's a little bit more than I can comprehend. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't really fully understand that mindset. I mean, she was very unhinged, so we know that, but I don't know. They also don't give a time frame. This might be due to the fact, since it's a different world, they don't have similar timelines. Okay. Their time with me, okay, I know it's wrong. This is my story. It's time for it to be a fucking hero. Both of us, 2018. So, any theories or responses? There are no responses to this, so it looks like we are on our own to decipher the code. And it's very, very, very intricate. DDLC could be after the girls all suffered death in a different world. Holy shit. Mind blown right there. Look at us all trying to be lore experts, right? It's so freaking cool. That's actually a good point. So Doki Doki could be... That's why you would go back, as in back in time. That's really, really cool to think about. I'm gonna move this down too. Wow. Like, I didn't even think about that. Like, okay, maybe I did, but I didn't really put it like that. I know we need Mad Pat. We need him right now. We need him right fucking now. And I just like, so if they all died in a different game, then how can we warn them about anything? Because we don't know how they died then. Maybe. I don't know if that's, I don't know if I'm getting at the right thing. I don't know. We are not supposed to save them. I want to save them, though! Especially Sayori. I want to save her so bad. Mr. Krabs! Mr. Krabs! Oh, I missed that Mr. Krabs stuff. That is super interesting. And I can't even wrap my head around it. Maybe they died the same way they died in those timelines? Maybe! Wait! Okay, so, wait a second. Monica didn't exactly die. We just deleted her file, right? So, if that was the case, Sayori was hanged. Natsuki died, not necessarily died, but the only instance we saw of her dying was her, like, she like snapped her neck herself and then ran towards me. So I don't know if that's a thing. And then, Yuri just did the whole knife deal. So maybe that's how it was? Not sure. No, I feel like you can save them, and that's why Monica makes the statement about trying to save them. Yes, I do like that theory too. Snaps own neck. Yeah, I like that theory a lot. But then, I don't know what to think. I really don't know what to think, because Monica came off as a very controlling person. And I don't know if the file, we decrypted it, if that's still her being the same controlling person, that just wants you to herself, or she wouldn't make that statement though about trying to save them though. So I think Alicia's got this right. Yeah. Does Natsuki's dad play a bigger role in this? Probably. I mean, he played a part in her story pretty big, so I'd say so. What? Hydro, maybe I'll want to date Mitch, but we'll have to go through me. Gio, shut up. You could easily recover her? What do you mean? Well, I know, but it's like, you mean in Doki Doki, right? If you mean recovering her, that's like, you could just go back and load the game up again, but other than that, Gaming with Dust Sands with the $2 super chat, my brother, thank you so much. What if Doki Doki is the center of all games, so if one of them dies, you have to go back and unlock the Eye and the girls. What if they die in one world, they must die in all the others? We will just have to wait and see when the next game comes out, but Monica has only wanted you to herself because she became sentient, which would make you think she got corrupted when being transferred. Here's a question, is, I was asking that one person about that last night in the Discord, but if Yuri was this all-powerful goddess, then how come she didn't use her quote-unquote powers to overthrow Monica? I'm not sure. I mean, I don't know. But I don't know. Either way, Gajeel, it's because your sentences make no sense and they're triggering, so I'm not gonna read yours. Maybe she didn't remember anything. If she didn't remember anything, that sentence right there just brought me back to the part where we were talking about her book, and she got all nervous when we were saying that we related her to the main character. So I feel like she remembers stuff. She was into Monica and wanted to let her have her fun. Maybe that's right too. Not anything, I mean everything. She might remember parts, but not understand why. Thus the deja vu. Oh. That makes sense as well. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I know, Hop. You said the first thing you ever saw was the pictures that Jinky was posting in the picture chat. So I understand why you wouldn't know much. But, I mean, I don't even think I'm an expert on the game either. I just watched the game theory on it, and I also played through it myself, and I got almost all the endings. I got a couple endings, but not all of them. Maybe Yuri hadn't become self-aware like Monica did. I think that's probably what happened. Monica was the first one to become self-aware, and thus she took control of everything, and I don't know. You know, it still boggles my mind. It's brain-boggling. That's exactly what it is. So, with that being said, I'm going to go and just relax the rest of the day. And I'm going to take it easy for a little bit, just because last night was a little bit hard for me, and I wanted to let you guys know about that today. And I wanted to get out that stuff and just let you guys know how I was feeling, because that was one of my resolutions for 2018, was to be a lot more transparent with you guys regarding my feelings, to let you guys know how I was feeling all the time, and just get things out in the open so I'm not keeping them inside all the time. So, hold on. The portrait of Markov is Yuri's story. That's why she got worried that you said in the main character was her. Yes, we discovered that earlier. It was crazy. What if Doki Doki is the center of all the games? I read that one already. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up. That I wanted to get this stuff out to you guys and talk about it and just get it off my chest a bit. So thanks guys for being here, and I will catch all of you guys in the next video. Wait, hold on, fuck it, wait, I will catch all of you guys in the next one. Peace! And then we're gonna play some tunes. Here you guys go, have fun with this. Hold up, hold up, hold up. What am I doing? What am I doing? Hold your fucking horses, everyone. I gotta do this. I gotta do this. Dude, Raptor Luck just fucking subscribed. Thanks so much, buddy. So, we gotta do this. What was I doing? I wasn't even thinking. Wasn't thinking at all. I wasn't thinking at all.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Mambo number 5. Everybody in the car.
Here we go. Here's how we're gonna end the fucking stream. Boom. I must stay deep, cause talk is cheap. I like Angela, Pamela, Sandra, and Rita. And as I continue, you know they're getting sweeter. So what can I do? I really bag you, my lord. To me, get ready, you guys. Here it comes. Anything fly, it's all good. Let me jump in, please sing in the trumpet. A little bit of Monica in my life. A little bit.